So we're going to talk about really what it takes to do to start building wealth for you and your family. I don't know about you, Wendy. Not that money is the answer to all the problems, but it sure makes a lot of problems seem much, much smaller. And not
Sure
only
does.
my problems, but helping others too. So
Yeah, I was listening to, I think it was an audiobook, or it might have been even a sermon the other day. It says money, is not everything, but yeah, but it sure does solve a lot of problems. And to your point that you just said, it helps us help other people. And
yeah,
there's, to be able to give back, like, actually, just side note, had a friend that really had a huge need and put a GoFundMe out there. And like, I wasn't able to give a ton, but to be able to give back and then seeing the
mhm.
donation list, and somebody anonymously gave $8,000 towards this. And it was like, I don't know, it's like, I want to be able to give like that. So,
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? And not only get a little biblical with everybody here. It's like I would rather and don't get me wrong, I give to charity, I give to causes and things like that. But I would rather teach somebody how to fish rather than just give them the fish, because you're going to have other situations come up in life, and that's why we do these videos, guys. Is to help you understand what it needs to take. Now, it's up to you whether you take action and actually put it into play or not. But everything we've laid out on our podcast and our videos, on our YouTube channel and everything like that, are applications that you can put into play to make things start happening at whatever level. Whatever level. It's don't ever tell yourself, "Oh, I don't have enough money to build wealth." That is a lie. And we're going to talk about that because the number one thing you should start doing to build wealth at whatever budget level is to get a spending plan in place. Not a budget, not restrictive thing. I mean, I always joke with clients that I call it a spending plan because I want to have money to spend later in life, but I also want to spend some money today and enjoy life. It's just you got to be intentional about where every dollar happens. And I know, Wendy, you have worked with a lot of clients on a spending plan. I mean, talk about that a
but
little bit and
yeah,
why
like,
that's so key.
yeah, I feel like a spending plan is really you having the power to tell your money what to do instead of your
Oh,
money kind of controlling you, right? It's going and you don't know what's happening, and I spent most of my adult life like this, where it's like I'm trying to make up for what I don't have, instead of, with a spending plan, it's you're intentional and you say, this is what my money's going to do. It helps you make better decisions knowing
it
what
does.
to do. So,
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's why a lot of people, when they get raises or things like that, they don't really feel it because it's like they start spending it.
mhm.
They're not intentional about that money. And there's a great company we partnered with called Money Patrol. It's moneypatrol.com, and we'll put that in the link below. But they've got a great free service for you to build out a spending plan. And I want to be clear, a spending plan is not what most people think. A spending plan is you laying out and being intentional on where you want your money to go. Meaning, I'm going to pay myself first, my future self, first fruits, right? Because you're the reason you're busting your butts for you and your family, not the car company, not the credit card company, not the bank that holds your note on your mortgage. So you want to, pay yourself first, and you should be saving upwards of 20% of your income. And I know if you can't do that today, that's okay. Don't just throw up your hands and say, forget it. Start with 1% if you're not doing anything. Start with something, right? Just do something and then start adding to that and determine what you want to spend each month in each category. And then when you hit that mark, if your entertainment money is at $300 a month and it's the 15th and you're already at $300, guess what? You're chilling and watching Netflix at home for the rest of the month. You've got to have a little bit of discipline mixed in with it. But that's that first step, is the spending plan. The second thing is really looking at debt. If you've got debt, and we all have had debt, I know, and I've shared my story with this. I'm not proud of it, but at one point in my life, I had $60,000 in unsecured debt. And I know a lot of you are like, oh my gosh, don't judge. That's, but I just want to be open with that because that's, it's something that I got caught in that trap of, oh, I can afford X per month. And the next thing
Mhm.
you know, something else happens. You put it on the credit card, something else happens. And you look up and it's like, holy crap, I've got my car financed and everything else. And you need to look at debt as a missed opportunity, because that money you're spending towards the bank, a lot of credit cards are like, upwards of 20 to 30% in interest rates. And they give you these little teaser rates, or maybe you got a free gift to sign up for it or whatever. And the next thing you know, you're using it, you just kind of slip into that trap. You don't really fall into it, you kind of slip into it.
Right.
And debt is just, it's stealing away your future. right? I don't know if you've struggled with debt, Wendy, or I've had clients or whatever, but it's something I see time and time again where people just they use the credit card as their emergency fund and their go-to, and they just think, oh, I'll just continue to have things going on, and the next thing you know, they look up, and then credit crisis happens, like what happened in '08, and what I think is around the corner here, or they lose a job or something like that, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh my gosh. Not to mention the amount of your interest that's going out every month to interest
Yeah.
rates. Your paycheck that's going to interest rates to the banks.
Yeah, you're spending interest, you're putting interest in other people's pockets when the goal and what we want to do with a wealth mindset is putting interest back in our pockets.